Long before Columbus, long before Jamestown, and long before the Pilgrims, there was a city in America larger than London. But history almost erased it. In the middle of what is now Illinois, near the banks of the Mississippi River, once stood an ancient metropolis. It was called Cahokia. At its height around the year 1100, Cahokia was the largest and most complex city ever built north of Mexico. It stretched across 6 square miles, housed more than 20,000 people, and contained massive earthen pyramids rising above the flat landscape. This was not a village. This was not a simple settlement. Cahokia was a true city, a forgotten urban giant of ancient America. Picture the city at its peak. Wide plazas filled with families, merchants trading corn, pottery, and shells from as far away as the Gulf of Mexico. Farmers working the surrounding fields to feed tens of thousands. At the center stood the largest earthwork pyramid in North America, Monk's Mound, a colossal structure bigger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza. On top, wooden temples and ceremonial buildings overlooked the entire city. Priests and leaders gathered there, conducting rituals, watching the stars, and guiding a society that was both spiritual and highly organized. Cahokia was more than a city. It was a hub of culture, astronomy, and politics, the beating heart of an entire civilization. But then, something happened. By the 1300s, the city began to shrink. By the 1400s, Cahokia was all but abandoned. What caused its decline? Historians still debate. Some point to climate change, years of flooding and drought that made farming unstable. Others suspect conflict, perhaps civil unrest, or wars with neighboring peoples. And some believe disease may have swept through the crowded city. Whatever the reason, Cahokia vanished. Its wooden buildings decayed, its plazas emptied, and its mighty mounds became covered with grass. For centuries, the city disappeared into silence. When Europeans arrived in North America hundreds of years later, they stumbled upon the massive mounds of Cahokia. But instead of honoring them as the work of a sophisticated civilization, many dismissed them as mere natural hills, or imagined they were built by some lost race unrelated to Native Americans. The truth was ignored. For generations, the builders of Cahokia were denied recognition. A great American city was forgotten, hidden in plain sight. Today, archaeologists are uncovering the truth. Excavations reveal enormous plazas capable of hosting thousands of people. Wooden posts arranged in circles, nicknamed woodhenges, served as astronomical observatories, tracking the movements of the sun and stars, just like Stonehenge in England. Artifacts tell of trade stretching across the continent, shells from the Gulf Coast, copper from the Great Lakes, obsidian from the Rocky Mountains, all found in Cahokia. This was not an isolated people. This was a civilization connected, advanced, and thriving. Yet despite all this, many Americans still don't know Cahokia ever existed. It is not in most school textbooks. It is rarely shown in history documentaries. A metropolis larger than London, almost erased from memory. So what does Cahokia teach us? It teaches us that history is fragile. Civilizations can rise to greatness and vanish within centuries, and when they vanish, their stories can be lost, unless we choose to remember. Cahokia was a city of visionaries, astronomers, builders, and dreamers. Their monuments still rise from the earth today, silent but enduring. Perhaps the greatest tragedy is not that Cahokia fell, but that for so long its story was silenced. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this. History is not only written by the victors. Sometimes it is erased by silence.